Welcome back to Groomer Tales, a podcast by Groomer's Choice. I'm your host, Natasha. On this episode, I chat with Emeka Moka from Nkita Pet, a luxury pet care brand blending natural ingredients, family tradition, and innovation. From growing up in a Nigerian entrepreneurial family to unexpectedly entering the pet industry despite severe pet allergies, Emeka shares his incredible story. He explains how groomers help shape the brand and what it takes to build a business from the ground up. Plus, some trade show stories, product secrets, and of course, a poop story you won't want to miss. Please enjoy this episode with Emeka Moka. Here on Groomer Tales, I like to think of it as origin stories, like how you got into the pet industry. We go back. So I know you're in Chicago now, but is that where you're from originally? We'll talk more about how this is kind of a family business, but was there ever another dream? Like you thought you might be an astronaut or something? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I guess those dreams are still kind of happening, right?
Yeah. It's never too late.
No, it's never too late. So, yeah, if you would have asked me maybe 10 years ago, 5, 6 years ago, hey, you're going to be in the pet business, et cetera, et cetera. Like, no, I'm not. I like you to show me. I like you to show me that. One of the first reasons is because I have severe allergies. So growing up, going to people's houses, if they had something like a German Shepherd, something that a dog that would shed, or even a cat, cats would be way worse because they get everywhere. And nobody's gonna totally clean their house for you before you come over. So it's like I come over there, then I would have 30 minute to 1 hour limit, and then my eyes will start puffing up, my throat will start getting all crazy. I start itching. So it's okay, if somebody doesn't have a hairless or short hair, non-allergenic pet, I can't literally be around that because it's like I just start reacting and going crazy. So that's why I say if you would have told me 6, 7 years ago, what I was like, yeah, you're gonna be the pet. Like, yeah, I like to see this.
How do you handle going to these trade shows? There's dogs everywhere at these things.
Trade shows. You have to. Let's first talk about the grooming salons.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
Yeah, where you got 20 dogs and you got dander all in the air and everything. But I've sort of gotten a little used to it. I was trying to wear a mask at first, but it was just weird trying to come in and trying to sell some product. You got a mask on, and you're trying to talk about some grooming products. So it's actually crazy because it's like we developed my own cure, so to speak. So, and it actually happened where a friend of mine had a cat named Denzel. It's a male cat. And he was like, it sheds a lot, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I said, well, this is our sample no rinse foam shampoo, something that the cat groomers love. I want to give it a try. I want you to lather, and we videotaped it too. So I actually have this videotape. I said, I want you to lather your cat up. Now I want to see how long I can bear to be right next to the cat. This is the first time I was able to be in somebody's house for up to 9 hours.
Oh, wow.
Without reacting. So
I bet they were just like, okay, can you leave yet? Or
yeah. They're like, are we still testing? Like, yeah, we're still testing. So, but it was a good time, and I was surprised. I was like, wow, this eliminated that dander, that excessive, dirt and oil and hair, stuff that usually gets, rolled up into dander and hits people like me all, sickly. So I'm like, oh, we found a cure. So for people who, have allergies or sensitivities to pets, pet hair, and things like that, this is somewhat of a remedy.
Nice. Yeah.
To that. So no more excuses of I can't come over your house because you have a dog or you have a cat. We got Nkita now, so to help out with that. Yeah, so that's very interesting. And prior to that, I said just to give you some context, we took up and we formed the company about 4 or 5 years ago, around COVID. And back then, everybody was sort of doing their own thing. My parents are retired. My sister, she has her own company. I was in the middle of doing projects. And my father was like, hey, would you guys want to do something in regards to pets? And I look like, especially me, I'm like, how's this gonna work? And so the thinking behind it was that we've been formulating on the hair care side, on the human side, making products for over 30 years. My father had his own brand back in the 80s. And we used to do trade shows and things like that on the human side with them. And so ethnic hair care, ethnic skincare is all about different texture, different texture, different texture. So the pet world is about different texture. You've got your wiry coats, your double coats, your hairless. You've got so many different textures, so many types of skin types. So it's, oh, this is almost like this is pretty much the same thing. So let's see what we can do in terms of creating a product that can help service what's not being done. So, we did our market analysis and we were hearing that the products that were safe, natural, or medicated weren't effective enough. They had the good claims, but they weren't cleaning like that. They weren't doing the job. And the ones that were doing the job, they were, excessively drying out people's hands or chemical irritation. And there's so many setbacks or messing up the pets. So we're like, wow, well, let's see if we can take a stab at this. So we were looking at the different ingredients that everybody was using. And we were like, okay, so there's a list of traditional ingredients, things like rosemary and coconut and chamomile that people were using for shampoos and paw butters and different treatments. But we were like, there's a lot of stuff people aren't using that benefits all pets and people as well. And one of those key ingredients was moringa. And so moringa we were already using in the human space. And I'm not sure if you've ever heard about moringa before.
No, like what is it, a plant, I'm assuming? Or
Yes.
okay.
So it's known for being a tea, like moringa tea.
Okay.
So most people will drink it as a tea. And it's a superfood. It's one of the superfoods. It's actually endemic to West Africa, which makes it a bit better of a narrative, with our story. And so we're like, okay, let's look up moringa. Let's see if pets, can handle it internally. So the research was suggesting that most people use moringa for pet supplements. So they would put it in the water, the pet food, or sprinkle it in their food. And then, you would have all this internal and external sort of great things that would happen, from coat health to bone health to just everything, the overall vitality of the pet. And that's cats, dogs, and horses. So it's multi-species. So we're like, oh, okay. So we already knew it helped people out, and it helped people out with the hair, it helped people out with the skin. And consequently, it did the same thing for pets. So we're like, wow, nobody's using moringa, in any type of formulation, grooming product formulation. So we thought that would be an advantage to introduce that to the industry on top of using some of the traditional ingredients like rosemary, chamomile, coconut, some of the oatmeal, some of the things that I mentioned before. And so I'm like, okay, so what kind of untraditional things can we add besides moringa? So it's moringa. And then I think that for our leave-in conditioner, which is a fantastic hit, it's a grapeseed oil. Yes. So that contains the linoleic acid. I believe I'm saying that right. And that acid is responsible for breaking down the yeast, undercarriage, and on the paws. So when they start to have that corn chip and Frito smell, that's great for breaking that down and neutralizing that. So we use the grapeseed oil, use the moringa, and then for our deodorizer, it was the witch hazel. Yeah, so we saw witch hazel was in some products, but we formulated that into our deodorizer.
Yeah, we have witch hazel in a couple things at Groomer's Choice too. So
okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Pretty expensive. Especially now, it's pretty expensive, but an excellent ingredient and a high quality premium ingredient. And that's what we wanted to concentrate on, is having premium ingredients in our formulation so we can get off and running, to a good start.
You mentioned your dad's company and the hair care and the human beauty aspect of it. Let's talk about your family history a little bit and how you ended up here. So did you grow up in Chicago then, or?
Yeah, born and raised. I'm first generation. So my mother and my father both came from Nigeria.
Okay.
So my mother's Yoruba, my father's Igbo. So they both speak two different languages. And it's kind of a backstory on how we got the
Yeah.
name Nkita.
Yeah,
So
it all comes around. So,
circle,
um,
yes.
and what was the name of it? Is that company and beauty line still around?
No, it's not anymore. Oh, he sold it
Okay.
years back. Yeah, it was called Sassy Waves. That was one of them.
Oh,
So
okay.
back in the late 80s, early 90s. Yeah. So
One of them. So you guys just making companies left and right.
so and then also we deal with helping people from overseas
Hmm.
in their own companies if they want to do skincare or beauty products. So consulting as well
Gotcha.
internationally. So yeah, so
Cool.
we're used to the international game and shipping and etc. So a lot of things to learn on that end. It's kind of a funny quick story. On that side, every year I used to work a show when I was with the human world called Cosmoprof.
Okay.
So
Yep.
Cosmoprof is at one location every year at the Mandalay Bay Convention Center, and it's at the same time every year, July, and it would be for the better part of a week. And so when I got into this industry, everybody was like, "Oh, you have to go to Super Zoo. You have to go to Super Zoo." So I'm like, "What is Super Zoo?" And so finally somebody was like, "Oh, that's a show in Vegas, and it's at the Mandalay Bay Convention Center, and and I'm like, okay, this sounds familiar, and it's so funny because it's like I had been working at convention center on the human side for over 7, 8 years, going every year, and then now being neophyte in this industry and being told like you have to go to this place. I'm like, I know that place very well.
You're like, I know my way around.
I know my way around. Yeah, I know my way around. So, and it's like that for the other convention centers too, because when I was on the human side, I was a trade show manager. So everywhere from Georgia International Convention Center to over here in California to Detroit to New York, where IBS is at, the
Hmm.
Secaucus, I've worked them all. So I'm like, but now I'm working them all on behalf of the family brand, which
Yeah.
is interesting. So
How long was the human beauty brand around? Did that butt right up to doing the pet stuff, or was there kind of a
no,
like
there,
how
there,
did?
there was, yeah, there was a definite gap. And then I also used to work for the manufacturer that's sort of making our product right now. I was there for about 10 years representing different retail brands, at these different shows like Cosmo, both retail and professional brands. And then we would also do private labeling for that company, white labeling, private packaging. And so it was interesting getting all that experience, all that time and turning around and
Yeah,
now using it to
it's
do.
it's all kind of the same.
Yeah, I like to say I'll be I'll watch my mouth. I'll say same poop, different toilet.
I think a lot of people think it's Nikita, but that's not how you say it, right? Even I said it wrong
Yes.
previously. So
Yes,
how do
yes.
you say it?
So let me get into it if you
Okay.
allow me real quick.
Yeah, go for
So
it.
so when we were coming up with the name of the company, of the potential company at the time, my father was like, we should call it puppy this or pet this or doggy this or that. And I'm just like, oh, those names are so bland. Everybody uses those foreign names. And so I asked my mother, how do you say dog in your language, which is Yoruba? And then so she said Aja, AJA. So I'm like, that sounds like somebody I used to date from back in the day, Aja or Aja. So, so I'm like, that doesn't work too much. So I asked my father, how do you say it in your language? Dog. He said, Nkita. I said, say it again. He said, Nkita. Can you spell it? He said, Nkita. So I'm like, man, that has a ring to it. And I know he was like, no, we can't use any African word, whatever word. I'm like, let me look up, let me go to USPTO, see if it's trademarked. And lo and behold, it wasn't trademarked. And then at that moment, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be Nkita. And then so when we finally got the young lady who did our design, Martina, she did it. It looked wonderful. It just looked wonderful. She did it the first. This was the first time, and she nailed it. And then after that, I showed a couple people, and they were like, "Wow, that looks nice. That's it. That's it." And I'm like, "We can't call it anything else but Nkita." So I had trouble pronouncing it. Some people still might say I pronounced it wrong if you ask the right or wrong person. And I was told, you say it just how it's written, the N and the Kita. So in Kita, in Kita. So
Inkita.
yep, you
Yeah.
said it. You said it right.
I
Yep,
think
you
I'm
got it.
overthinking it. I'm overthinking it.
Yeah, I think a lot
Inkita.
of people too, and then I think a lot of people put an I after the N
Mm-hmm.
just because
Yeah.
visually it's like something's missing to a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
say Nikita or Nikita or this, but it's fun. I let people. We're doing like a wordplay game. Like, how do you say Inkita? How do you say Inkita?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I say it like this. I say
As
it like
long as
this.
they recognize it on the shelf, that's all we.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of crossover, even like you said, with the white labeling and trade shows and in the beauty industry and in the pet industry. Some of the business stuff is kind of the same. But were there other things that you had to kind of figure out? Like, how did you move from idea to execution?
Yeah, it was learning the lingo, being neophyte in the industry and not having a pet myself, I said put me at a disadvantage, so what we did was like, or what I did was start knocking on doors. I'm old school. That's how I used to do it. Actually, there's a groomer across the street from me right now. She was our first order for the product. And and then I came and she's got all her AKC championship, uh, you know, medals on the wall and stuff. So I'm like, oh, this is somebody for real. So I'm like, you better just be real nice and keep smiling. So she's just looking at everything, and she finally placed the order and gave us a shot, and she hadn't turned around ever since. And she told me that it was one of the best shampoos that she had ever used in her whole career. And she has an accolade, a Rolodex of accolades, in the industry. And then once she told me that, I was like, okay, I think we have something. And then other groomers in Chicago started, warming up to us and taking us in and saying, this is good. Because when we first launched, we didn't have our shampoo, our 50-in-1. We just had our bundle kit.
Okay.
So I was out here trying to sell maintenance items, and they were like, well, this is cool. This no rinse is cool. This leave-in is good. But they're like, you need a shampoo, like a real shampoo that we can wash with. So that's when we went and took sort of a focus group. We started asking groomers in Chicago, what does a favorite or the best complete shampoo look like to you? And that's when we started getting different dilution ratios. Some would say 16-to-1, some say 32-to-1. Because in the hair and human world, you have concentrated, but not really, you
Yeah.
know. So this was like, okay, people like, if you can do a 50-to-1, that would be great. So I'm like, okay, so how does a good 50-to-1 look like? They're like, well, it has to lather well. It has to be used for de-shedding. It has to be used for deodorize. They've just giving me categories. I'm just writing it down, writing it down,
Hmm.
writing it down. They're like, we don't want it to burn the hands because most of the 50-to-1s, they burn, they do this, they do that. So we're going with it. And so a couple of the groomers that we gave the first sample to were like, are you guys really going to be able to pull this off and knock something out? Like, oh yeah, we'll have a sample real quick. We'll have a sample real quick. So we actually debuted that shampoo at the All American show in Schaumburg, because where
Hmm.
they have the All American grooming show is about 15 minutes away from where we manufacture our products in
Oh, nice.
Springwood, Illinois. Yeah, so that worked out. but
Yeah, and that's kind of cool to debut it kind of in your own backyard, like
yeah,
keep it in
yes.
the home field advantage a little bit.
Yeah, in our ecosystem, so to
Yeah,
speak.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
That's
So
cool.
so we were able to do that. And last year we actually sold out at that show, all of our shampoo early Sunday. So we're like, okay, people are really, warming up. They love the shampoo. They've been loving the shampoo, but that was the first year that we just absolutely sold out. And we were like, okay, we knew we had something, but now we know that we've got something. And just the ability of that shampoo to be able to accommodate all different categories, from the de-shed to the brightening and whitening to even flea and tick to deodorizing to this category to this category, it makes it so applicable to whether it's a high volume grooming situation, a neighborhood groomer, a mobile groomer. It's inviting for all those reasons to everyone. So yeah, so that's what we did. We knocked on the doors, and we kept knocking on the doors till they opened it or buzzed us in. and would get a sample. So and it's been taken off since there. So we've just been getting more and more creative in how we're sort of patronizing the market and things that we're doing. I want to show you, we got a new challenge coming out soon.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Half-gallon groomer challenge. Ooh.
Yeah. And it comes with candy. It comes with candy. So, all the reps are like, why are you so excited about this candy? I'm like, wait till you drop this off at a grooming salon or a store, and wait till you see the person's face when they get a free pouch.
It's funny, on a couple of the last episodes, we had people that are kind of have canine academies, like obedience training and stuff, and they talk about being treat motivated, and I'm like, I think a lot of people are treat motivated too.
I am. Yeah.
Yeah, so the candy makes sense, man.
Makes sense. Yeah. So what we're asking them to do is, it's basically our samples are like a 1 ounce, sort of like those hand sanitizer jars of our concentrated shampoo, and that 1 ounce is enough to get about 5 to 8 dogs, to wash about 5 to 8 dogs. So we're asking people to take that challenge, scan, give us their results, tell us what they use it on. Was it a de-shed? Was it a deodorizer? Was it a deep clean? How many dogs did they get out of it? What was their experience? Did they like the way it lathered? They're just getting a lot of good data points.
Yeah.
And so we're opening up this program nationwide, because now we finally launched our brand ambassador program. And so we're going to have our brand ambassadors start to patronize their different markets and pass out these challenges to the different groomers in their areas.
Cool. So if someone wants to be part of the challenge, do they just hit you up, like slide into your DMs or something, or what?
It's actually a product on our website now.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So it's like $13 free shipping. They get this whole groomer challenge kit sent out to them. They get a leave
with the candy.
With the candy. With the candy. I found a mailer envelope that would fit and hold everything. So yeah, they get the candy, and we're now going to have a candy of the month to switch it up.
Wow.
Yeah. So it may not be the same next month. You may get jelly beans. You may get lifesavers. You may get Oreos. You may get, multitude of things. So
yeah, I like that. That's fun.
Yeah, thanks.
And it's funny you talking about what people wanted in these shampoos for pets. You talked about like flea, and at first I'm like, oh yeah, the beauty business with humans, it's really kind of the same. But then you're saying like deodorizing flea and tick. I'm like, well, I guess we don't have that as much with people, but
yeah.
So there were some new things to learn, I suppose.
There's new things, yes.
Being allergic to dogs, what sparked the idea of let's get into the pet industry? I don't know if we really, like, when did that light bulb go off?
Well, yeah, like I said, it was about 4 or 5 years ago. And then it was just a question. It was around the COVID time. And then it was a question my father had for the family, particularly for me. And it was like, hey, would you be interested in maybe just do something for pets or a pet line? And, I thought about it, and the light bulb moment was when I talked to some pet parents, and then some friends I had, and they were just telling me like, yeah, there's not a real loyalty to a specific product, because if it was like very product loyal or product sensitive, I'm like, you got to start fighting against these people or trying to create our own structural hole, within this market to see if we can get some of this share. But it was like, no, hey, pet parents, we use different stuff every day. We're always searching for the next best thing. And so I'm like, well, what is the best thing that you're using? And I was looking at some of the things they're using. I'm like, I said we can do a little bit better. I
Yeah.
think we
So
can
it
do a
was
little.
so it was ultimately Dad's idea. He was like, "Hey, I think we could do this."
Yeah, he sparked it. He definitely sparked it. He definitely
Gotcha.
sparked it. And then I co-signed on it. And then we went, and then we went from there.
Like you said, you talked to some pet parents, and especially having some of the smaller sizes, is this you're not selling just to groomers, it's to pet parents, it's to everybody.
Yes, so we have the unique added benefit of toggling between both professional and retail. So
Okay.
like the pet parents, with the bundle kits, and then for the professional with the gallon sizes, things of that nature. But and then interesting enough, these years we've been getting called by everybody from vet techs and animal hospitals. They're showing us videos of them using like our foam and deodorizer for like anal gland expressions. Say they love it. So now we've got like vet techs and animal hospitals sort of patronizing us. The pet boarding and daycare here in Chicago, they love it for the exit grooms, for the quick refresh, at the end of the day or, overnight.
Yeah.
Also, there's been about 4 or 5 equestrians and horse people that have called us and showed us pictures of how well the shampoo has worked on their horses and brought back the tails and the mane. Like we're just like, whoa, okay. So we're like, okay, we've got a couple categories to patronize outside of just the grooming
Yeah,
world.
for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah. So
Expand
now,
on that a little bit.
exactly. So so now that's sort of the plan of attack to start sort of engaging in some of these other pet industry categories, such as the animal wellness, such as the equestrian and the
Yeah.
pet boarding and daycare.
So for someone that had never heard of Nkita before, I'm going to say it right.
You did it right too. Yeah.
How would you describe your mission or what separates you from everything else in the pet world?
Well, yeah, I would tell them if they're looking for company products that are sustainable, that have natural ingredients, that also they're looking for a product that's effective, that actually caters to the solutions and problems that they have with their pet, no matter if it's a cat, dog, or a horse, that they should definitely look to engage and then definitely be encouraged to try our products. Because once people try our products, I won't say they get hooked, but one of the, I guess, compliments that I get that I wasn't looking for, I didn't understand. Everybody's the feel is different. And they're
Oh,
like
yeah.
the groomers can tell the feel. They're like, you can tell that your dog is clean. There's no residue, there's no heaviness, there's no grit, there's no anything, there's no flakiness. They're like, this really cleans the dog. So I'm like, everybody's been emphasizing on the feel and it being clean. And I'm like, well, what are some of the other products doing if they're not clean? No, no jab to anybody else, but I'm like,
Yeah.
that's been the point of emphasis. Because when you hear other things, it's like, oh, the smell, it smells so good, my dog smells so great, my cat smells so great, and the this, the that. But for us, it's specifically feel and smell. So I would encourage anybody that's really looking for a difference, you know, a noticeable difference right then and there to use our products. And that's why we encourage them at the show. We do something called the 3-step refresh where we put the products on their hand
Oh.
and then we let them see the left hand versus right hand. We ask them to feel the left hand versus right hand. And people just keep rubbing their hand and smelling their hand. And they circle back to the booth like it's still soft. It still feels great. And we're like, exactly how it feels on you is exactly how it's going to feel on your pet.
Yeah, and I think a lot of groomers, we talk about dogs that have sensitivities, but a lot of people also have issues with certain fragrances or dyes or things like that. So it is nice to find that product that doesn't
That
hurt the
marries
groomer
both.
as yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And we wanted to take into account sensitivities of both the pet parent or the people and the pet, not
Hmm.
just one, not just the other, but both.
Yeah.
So our formulation is unique in that sense. And you'll see in the back of our packaging, everything says for people, for 100% safe for human hair and human skin. So just encouraging that people can, and then trust me, a lot of people are using the product. I've got about 5 salons here in the city where they buy the gallon leave-in conditioners just to use on their own hair. I'm like, and you know what they say to me? You guys should consider making something for humans. I'm just like, oh, like,
You're like, we've been there, done that.
been there, done that, yeah.
This episode of Groomer Tales is brought to you by Healthy Skin and Coat. Every grooming salon sees it. Pets struggling with itchiness, flakes, redness, hot spots, and irritated skin. Healthy Skin and Coat's skin-first grooming approach gives groomers a complete professional solution to cleanse, restore moisture, and maintain healthier skin and softer coats. Healthy Skin and Coat's powerful ingredients like chlorhexidine to help cleanse and support troubled skin, plus hydrocortisone to help soothe irritation and itching, designed to bring comfort pets can feel and results pet parents can see. Shop now at groomerschoice.com. Now, back to Groomer Tales. On your website, you use the word luxury a lot. What does that word mean to you when you say luxury pet care?
Yeah, luxury is how we were talking about earlier, the ingredients, the availability of certain ingredients, the use of certain ingredients, and not just mentioning just the ingredients, but the experience itself. It's a spa-like experience. It's something you're just not, it's something you're going to have to go pay for, you know, and pay a high price, what we associate premium services, luxury services with. So, and we're able to do this in our package for you to experience at home, or whether you experience it at an actual groomer salon or mobile groomer yourself. So you can have that luxury or pet spa experience at home, or you can have it on the road. So that's why we emphasize on that luxury word too.
And you mentioned the ingredients a lot. The moringa, am I saying that right? Grapeseed oil. How intentional was that in the formulation, and how do you balance having natural ingredients with the actual performance? Because sometimes people can say, oh, it's all natural, but I still want it to do what it says it's going to do, you know?
It says, yes. And so you see that ours is, like we were talking about earlier, when people use it, they actually notice the results. And what's been happening too, a point I didn't consider that's been brought to my attention, is that over time usage of our product. It's not just a Band-Aid. We're getting pictures of people saying, look, this is 5 months later. The hair grew back. This happened. It's detangled. It's not matted up. Their hair is naturally like this. Their skin is in a better condition now. So we're getting a lot of not just quick before and after pictures. Oh, I just used it and styled, you know, the dog or the cat. It's like, look, this over time, your product is beneficial.
Yeah.
And external health, you know, of our pet.
Yeah.
And like I say, that moringa was very intentional because it's endemic to West Africa. So to have a superfood, super packed ingredient like that be in our formulation and sort of be our hero ingredient was very intentional.
Yeah, it's all, I think it's cool because it's all like where you're from and your family's story, and it wraps it all up in a little bow.
Thank you, yes.
Speaking of natural ingredients, a lot of brands will say it's natural and sometimes it gets overused. So how do you kind of avoid that trap of not just using these buzzwords, but actually following through with it?
Yeah, there's a lot of things, like the education of the consumer, the stylist is a lot different than back in the day. You see now, you go to a show, people pick up your bottle and they just start reading. What ingredient comes first, and they see the order because that dictates what's used and this and that. So I encourage everybody to do that. We're fully transparent with what we use. All of our products, except for our foam shampoo, are vegan. We've got a little bit of tallow in our foam shampoo, but that's not hurting anybody. But everything else is vegan. We've had to participate in certain shows where we had to submit our ingredient list and things like that, so they make sure that we're actually saying and our claims are backed by what's actually on our bottle. So we've gone through our due diligence, and we go through our due diligence with other companies and other services to make sure that we are for real. What we're saying is true. And then, like I say, I encourage everybody to look at the back of our ingredient list, and we send people our ingredient list if they just want to go over, you know, our ingredients and see if there's something that, you know, they may interact with or they may feel a little apprehensive about. But we're totally open about it. just so people have that level of confidence and trust with it.
Also, on your website, there's a lot of emphasis on cruelty free and some sustainability. You guys do some things to be sustainable. Can you elaborate on that a little more?
Yeah, everything from our packaging to how our manufacturing processes are run, totally in the confines within sustainability. Actually, we were onboarded and supported by the Pet Sustainability Coalition with PSC. And so we're actually working on some fun projects right now for the brand, for the company, and for our relationship as well. And so just partnering with people like PSC just to show our added part and support on being sustainable, eco-friendly are things we do as a company to show both the professional and the public, that we're really about this life.
Yeah. Was that something that's always been important to your family, or was that personally something you wanted to do, or did it just
Yeah,
kind of happen, or?
the
Yeah.
narrative, like I told you, even from the human world, the consumer just doesn't take face value what the sales rep or the marketing rep is saying. Hey, that's this, blah, 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 here, take it, blah blah.
Yeah.
They can read, they can do their own research, they can do,
Yeah.
so you have to make sure that you're in alignment with the things that you're saying. You're in alignment with the things that they want for a product and they want for a service, they want for their pets, they want for themselves. It all has to make sense. And
Hmm.
so that was done with intentionality to sort of pacify and disarm, us, especially being a new company. Okay,
Yeah.
your ingredients, what's your product, it's your services. We're
Yeah.
made in the USA, we're manufactured here. Where do you source your ingredients from? We can answer a lot of those questions. So
That's cool. And I
thank
think, especially like you said, being a new company, you got to think of all those things because people are going to ask or wonder where'd they come from, all that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
you just pop out of nowhere. You're like, what?
Yeah. We just came out the sewer with this packaging. What's going on here?
Sounds like you're in a family of entrepreneurs. If you could give one piece of advice to someone struggling to start a business or has a business idea, what advice would you give them?
Oh, the only way to get it going is to get it going.
Right. Yeah.
I think a lot of times we put ourselves, in these shells and these spaces where, we're asking ourselves a million and one questions. We're letting people ask us a million and one questions, and it just gets to a stalemate. I always describe traffic in Chicago, and I say, I know what causes it. 50% of the people are in a rush to get to work or to get home, and the other 50% aren't in a rush to get home or get to work. So you have a stalemate. So
Yeah.
everything just, and so that can happen oftentimes when you're trying to start up a company or do something new, because it's like you're trying to get these ideas out of your head or, to market. And then there's people or even yourself that have apprehensions and are kind of tentative on making it. So you can just get stuck sometimes. But you got to put your favorite song on and learn how to navigate through.
It's kind of like that
through
Wayne
the madness.
Gretzky. I think it was Wayne Gretzky quote where you miss 100% of 100% of the shots you don't take. So it kind of the same thing.
Exactly. The only way to get it going is
To
to
get it
get it
going.
going. Yeah.
That's merch. Put that on a shirt.
Okay. Let me write that down right now. Okay.
You mentioned a little bit already a couple examples of this when people started using your products on horses, but is there another interesting or unusual use you've seen one of your products and you thought, oh, we didn't think of that, but
There's been so many. Like I say, like the leave-in conditioner doubles as a paw pad treatment. You can use it as a thermal protectant for your hair. The deodorizer, you can use that as a body spray. You can use
oh,
that as an insect repellent. You can use that as a first aid spray if you've got any scrapes or any insect bites. You can use the witch hazel, obviously. The no rinse foam shampoo. I've been hearing some funny scenarios from groomers on how they use it, but I won't mention too many of them. But one of them was just as a normal hand sanitizer, like a foamy hand sanitizer. They say when they're, you know, in there with the dogs that it's just lovely. You know, when they have their hands sort of compromised, that they use it as like a wash, and it hydrates and it
Mhm.
conditions, cleanses their hands. Also as a face wash. I know I've had stories about, hey, after the gym, you know, I didn't have time to take a shower, but your foam worked just as
Wow.
well. And so
So
yeah, we're
who knew you're also in the skincare industry now?
you know, we came from that. So I'm like, yeah, so and people are discovering the human uses of the
Yeah.
product, which is so funny. They're like, I used it on myself for this. We were at a show at the top of the year in Tinley Park. It was the Great American Dog Show, Great American Cat Show. One day they had 1,400 dogs, 800 cats, and we were right dead in the middle. And we had everybody coming over to us saying how they used the product, this and that. There was this one handler, and she had her daughter with her, and she just stood in front of the booth, and she was like, "Look," and I'm like, I didn't know what I was looking at. So she was pointing at her daughter, and she said, "We didn't have any good shampoo at the hotel. We used your concentrated shampoo." And she said, "And we didn't have any hair conditioner. We used yours." And she said, "Look how fabulous my daughter's hair is using your conditioner."
Nice.
I'm, yeah, I'm just like, well, what about the dog? Yeah, like,
The dog's fine too.
yeah.
And it's funny here, even at Groomer's Choice, like we have all our salon scents and the detangle spray or anti-stat. We have some of those in our bathrooms here just because the anti-stat, it's good on human hair too when it's really
Yes.
staticky in the winter, or the salon scents all just smell good. So sometimes we do just spritz some body sprays or whatever. So yeah, we do some of that here too, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm not telling. I'm not telling.
It works, you know?
Yeah.
You're a busy guy. So, how do you balance running your business, social media stuff? It sounds like you also do consulting work, nonprofit stuff. Do you have just a really good schedule or calendar or something?
I'm looking at you, and my mind is going, oh man, I gotta go do this, gotta go run, do this, do that. Yeah, it's formed into, because like I said, we're going from the infancy stages of this company to now we've been ready to gear up. Like I say, we're at a facility where we can produce a lot, we can pump out a lot, not some of the normal challenges of a traditional startup. But yeah, now I've been getting to the point where it's like you have to get real organized, because I've been doing a Rolodex of shows, the tour, we've got the events, we're getting into the different sections of the pet industry. So we've been, like I said, we started our ambassador program. We've been soliciting certain help in different markets to start, doing more territorial management. So it's getting exciting. Yeah, but me personally, I think I would say I probably go crazy for about 3 to 5 hours every day, and then I'm waiting for that to end. So if it will, yeah. But
Yeah.
3 to 5 hours every day, I go absolutely crazy.
Is it just you, or do you have some staff, or how big of do you have some employees and stuff helping you out?
More or less, more or less. It's pretty much just me, but it's like I said, we have other people in place who can sort of proxy me, like in different markets, and even our market here, that
Hmm.
help run around and go to salons. We're working with a smaller distributor as well here. They've been doing an excellent job, and just kind of getting the word around. And like I say, so our ambassadors and our reps that we just started onboarding, we're all looking forward to a exciting year.
You were talking about like a distributor and manufacturer. You knew some of these people already from prior businesses. So I suppose was it easy to find some of those people again because you had already used
Yeah,
some
well,
of those?
I hadn't used all of my connects. So in the hair world, I used to know all the Andes people. I used to
Yeah.
know all the wall people. I used to know a little bit of just everybody, all the main distributors, so I'm like, okay, I'm playing new guy in this industry, so to speak. Because I used to deal with the distributors on behalf of the company when
Hmm.
I was on the human side. So it's like I know that whole game. I used to live in distributor warehouses and I used to set up teams to go patronize the different distributors around the country. So that game is just now coming.
Transferable skills. It's all coming in
Yes,
handy, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So I know the talk, like you said, is pretty much the same, in terms of how the operational and logistic wise, how things are run. So we're very comfortable and familiar with that. So
Hmm.
looking forward to as things elevate and grow, having some of those conversations. It's been real interesting because it's just sort of like the B2B and the B2C and the B2D and, just trying to create a happy marriage with all of them and see what to prioritize, in what season. So it's all have everybody's your story. I said the story is going on right now.
Yeah, it's
Like
still being
like
written.
it's still being
We're doing
written.
it.
Yeah.
And you speak of growth. What do you see for Nkita's future, or where do you see it in 5 years, 10 years?
Well, I would say on the, I can easily say on a shelf of here and there and these, certain accounts, but I just keep telling myself just for it to be a household name, you know, between pet parents and the pet professional. What I would like to see is that the pet professional sort of second Inkita if a pet parent has a question like, hey, what's a good product? What can we use in between? What would you all suggest? Because if it's anything like the human world, we used to patronize the stylist because the stylist
Hmm.
was in the middle of the distributor and the actual client. So everything went through the stylist. So in this world, we're patronizing the groomer because we're using sort of the same logic that, hey, the groomer is going to be asked nutritional questions. They're going to be asked veterinarian questions. They're going to be asked service questions, overnight questions, boarding questions, and then they're going to be asked grooming and product questions as well. So since they're always being asked for all, all this information, let's give them something and provide them with something that not only they can benefit off of, but then they can recommend,
Yeah.
to the pet parent.
And everyone will say it correctly in 5 to 10 years.
Now, if they do that or not, like you say, as long as they know the logo, that's fine. I think we'll have some merch available as long as you're wearing a T-shirt or something.
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
say it any way you want to. Yeah.
What's the most rewarding part of your job for you?
I'd say when we do these sort of projects and campaigns, and I just start getting data and the feedback, whether it's just like an email message, like, oh, we just received one of your, blah, blah, in the mail, and we love it, and, gonna send pictures and tag you all on social media. That's what does it for me. That's what does it for me. I think the happiness or the joy, or the outcome of who uses the product, whether it's the pet parent or whether it's the professional. Like I love hearing the feedback. I love hearing the feedback.
Even the negative stuff?
Yeah, and you know what? I'm not gonna. Well, let me not go on wood. So like the most negative thing for our like our shampoo has been I wish you all would come out with a different scent.
Okay.
So that's been like the most jarring thing that we've
If
heard.
that's the worst you've heard, that's not that bad, really. I mean,
Yeah, and I'm just like, so I don't know if it's me just kind of waiting. I want to hear something else. I want to hear something else. Tell me, or what. But that's the most jarring thing that we've heard is, oh, you guys need to have a fruitier smell or this or that.
how would you describe the smell? Is everything kind of the same scent?
I would say clean,
Okay.
clean.
You just want to
That's
be
what.
clean. I mean,
Yeah, and that's what everybody says. Everybody says it's very clean. I'm like, we just want to clean your pets. That's
yeah,
all.
that's not
Yeah,
bad. You're like, I'll take it. What's wrong with
yeah.
that? I don't know. But yeah.
If you want a different smell, please by all means get a cologne or this or perfume or whatever. But we just want to clean your pet, and that's
Yeah.
all.
in this industry, I'm relatively new to the pet industry. I've worked at Groomer's Choice a couple years now, and I've learned a lot in that 2 years. There's always new trends and technology and new products and new tools. So how do you keep up with this ever-changing pet world? And what do you think the importance of continued education is?
Continuing education is very important. On the human side, when we were there, we used to actually hold CEU courses, so continuing education hours, continuing education courses. So, and the stylists would have to update them every year. So it's very important, with this industry, just to be abreast on not only what's happening, but the certifications that are required, the due diligence that's sort of imposed, with understanding different systems, different techniques, and just what's happening, what's coming out. So I've got a great team of people who have their eyes and ears on the street, and they're always just telling me, God, hey, don't know if you saw this yet, but this is happening, this is going on, So it's very fun, it's very exciting just to see what people are coming out with and what people are doing. And then I know it's how things go. I know when I was on the human side, new company come out with something, just because we would do private packaging. Yeah, let's see it. Let's see what's to it. Let's see what's to it.
Yeah.
So sure, that same sentiment sort of echoes throughout this industry as well.
Again, your whole family has been doing stuff like this your whole life, but besides maybe your family, or I suppose you could pick your parents too, did you have any mentors or influential figures who kind of helped you along in this world?
So, yeah, I've got a couple of important people. I'm always so sort of not secretive, but I'm always like on mentions. But there's a couple of people in this industry specifically who have been paramount in helping and still helping us shape, who we are going to what we're doing. And I'm very thankful for them. And then prior to that, the people who I've known in like the hair space, they're always just, you can come to us and ask us for any type of advice. And that's anyone. I've got a couple of people. Like I said, I just kind of
that's fine. You don't have, you can gatekeep if you want, I guess.
Yeah, I can shout out, I can do mentions, but there are people who have been very pivotal and are still very important in the shaping and involvement of what we're doing right now.
I respect that. It's fine. It's fine.
Can't do it. Yeah, I couldn't do it all by myself. Definitely, especially in this space where we're truly like neophyte. So from in this space, from groomers to certain people who are just sort of industry liaisons that have been helping to put us in the right place, at the right time. So I'm very thankful and benefit and humble, to be working with those people.
This is my favorite question to ask everybody. Because being in the pet world, it's bound to happen. Ooh, what's your best poop story?
Ooh. It is. Wow. I've got a couple. I've got a couple. I'd say one was doing an event. I believe I was in LA, and it was more of a C-suite, and there was one woman, she had her dog. I'm not sure what breed this dog was. It's a big dog. I'll get the breed, but basically it made a big mess. And so I stylishly had my bundle kit with me. We weren't supposed to have any products on us, but I did. So I had my bundle kit in my small tote bag, and then that poof, like everybody was just invading. Oh, it was pollution that just landed on the ground. The smell was atrocious. And so I pulled out my deodorant and I started I started spraying that big pile of what. And then somebody was like, "Oh, that actually worked. It doesn't smell so bad." I'm like, So it was like a commercial opportunity for
Yeah.
me. Because,
Did you
you know,
plant that dog? You made that dog.
no, it seemed like it because I just came to the rescue out of nowhere. It was perfect timing for me because they put two cones and they had the big mess sandwich between two cones so nobody would walk
Yeah,
around
yeah.
it. So they got somebody to come. Like, and
Yeah.
everybody was like, oh, no, bad. So I'm like, I've got my deodorizer. Don't
Yeah.
worry. Like,
And
let me clean this up for you.
didn't usually the pet parent didn't have a poop bag right handy, or like that just wasn't going to
Like I
be
say,
enough?
it was a C-suite event, and so this was the only person that had a dog. Maybe two people had their dog, had a dog, and then this woman, she had her dog, and it was a big dog. And no, I think she needed maybe one of those 13-gallon trash bags to get all that in. One of
And
those poop bags was not enough
not enough.
to handle that.
But now that you say that as when at a show or at an event, I've been to a handful of trade shows now, and I'm kind of surprised we don't see more poop. It's actually not as big of a thing as you think it would be, but
No, they're ready. They're ready. Those dogs at the trade shows, they understand. Like
yeah.
they communicate. They're like trade show approved. They're trade show ready. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like beyond service dogs.
Yes.
They're trade show dogs. Yeah.
Oh, they would never. Okay, this is the part of the podcast I call it quick snips. It's just a series of rapid fire questions. They're just kind of for fun. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Favorite animal from a TV show or movie?
I was going straight for Scooby, but I'm like, no, that's definitely wrong. I would have to say I'm a big anime person.
Oh,
So
okay.
so you just had me start doing a Rolodex of who my favorite. Oh, there's so many. Jeez, this is not fair because I can't just pick one because I'm just gonna go. Oh no, it should have been that. Should have been okay. So this is hard.
I know nothing about anime, so I can't even help you narrow it
Uh,
down. I don't even...
yeah, a lot of them will have a side, like the loner ones will have a side animal,
Right.
like whether it's a tiger or something that morphs into something that can
Yeah.
really, that can really assist them. I'm just trying to think of who I would actually be like, this is the favorite, on a
We can
pinnacle.
go with that just as a genre, like the sidekick anime animal or something.
Yeah, they're always great because they start off as being real cute and cuddly, and then when they get into battle, they morph into this big
Yeah.
giant,
Yeah, we'll go with that. I like that. Okay. What is your go-to coffee order?
Huh. Is this intentional right here? Is this a
Is it a
pun?
mocha?
I don't drink coffee. I'm a hot chocolate person.
Oh, okay.
So
That
I drink.
works.
I love hot cocoa, but I would order a mocha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's your most used emoji?
Ooh. This is gonna sound quite crazy, but it's actually I thought it was a Hershey Kiss because I'm a chocoholic, and people
The
were like,
poop?
"What?"
It's the poop.
Yes. So I thought I would be sending people Hershey Kisses all the time, almost like a thumbs up. And they're
Yeah.
like, "Why are you sending me a such and such, emoji?" But I still use it because it looks like a Hershey Kiss to
It's
me.
That's funny. The one emoji that to me it just kind of meant oops. It's kind of this one with the hands. And then
Okay.
someone was like, that means hug. You're like sending a hug. I'm like, does it?
Oh,
Because I thought it was just hee hee. Like I don't know.
yeah. I'm
So I
I'm
was like,
telling
I
my
don't
age. Yeah, I'm telling my age. Yeah, like I don't get it. Yeah.
Okay, what was the last thing you binge watched?
Ooh, that was anime as well. That was anime as well. I can actually pull that up right here real quick and tell you. It was an anime called Hell's Paradise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that on
I
like
know you're
Netflix or something?
on one of these anime
Oh,
channels where you can just watch different
okay.
animes. Man,
That's a whole world I don't know a lot about, but I'll take your word for it.
as you can tell, man, he goes between the dog world, pet world, and anime. Like,
No, that's me. I really like boy bands and stuff. It's fine. We all got our thing, you know. What is one product or tool that you can't live without?
hmm. Tool wise, I would probably say there's like an exfoliating body brush that I got some years ago at a show, and I just find myself using it in the morning
Is it
and at
supposed to be
night.
for dogs, but you just like it? Or was it one of the human shows?
It was a human show, but I guess you
Okay.
can use it for either or. But it's so nice. Like the bristles, the brush, and you can just use them for your arms. You can use them for my head. You can use them
Yeah.
for your neck. I just, and it's not like it's my favorite tool. Whatever. I usually don't use stuff. I'm a pretty simple guy, but it's like I always find myself gravitating and just kind of, oh, this is comfortable. This feels good.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Nkita product?
Ooh. You're gonna have them be mad at me. I don't know if I can say this out
Yeah, you're
loud.
like, I can't pick my favorite child.
Yeah. Oh, how? I'll say it because they're all watching. Uh, probably say for right now. I really do like our leave-in condition.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, that's not to say all your products are great.
I just used it this morning. That's why.
Gotcha.
And I used it yesterday, and I use it on the road a lot too. When the hotels don't have lotion or this or that. I mean, it
Yeah,
just
yeah.
works.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
Because this is a Groomer's Choice podcast, do you happen to have a favorite Groomer's Choice product?
I probably, well, me not being a groomer and being a product maker, but I probably would say I haven't had a chance to see you all's brushes
Yeah.
and combs and things like that because it probably would be one of those.
Yeah. Our Sure Grip line.
Okay.
Shameless plug. Sure Grip is our line of brushes and combs.
Okay. You know what? We're always being asked to partner with brushes or combs just because people are like, just for the exfoliating part. Because
Yeah.
our box is meant for a dry groom. So
Oh,
people,
okay. Mm-hmm.
yeah, so they're always like, what can help sort of brush the product in and get it and work it in. So I'm always like, I'm always looking for a nice brush or comb or something like that. So
I'll see what we can come up
yeah.
with. Anyway. Okay. And then this last question, it can be business related, but it can also just be life related. What do you still wish to accomplish?
Well, I'd say, well, we'll go with business. Well, life just to be balanced, but business the same thing. But I also have another side company called Roots, Fruits, and Shrooms. So it's an L3C. So we do sustainability. So we do like tower gardens and plant walls.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah, more or less combating, food hunger. We grow just straight food. We don't grow cute things. So just trying to solve that issue for people, turning food pantries into self-sustainable.
I'm probably thinking too small, but I've seen people with apartments even have just a
Yes,
little tower in their apartment because they don't
exactly.
have a yard, like
Yes,
stuff like that. Okay.
because I'm a city boy, city kid in an apartment, living in condos, high rises, so we don't have backyards and things, but people may still want to have their own farmers market,
Yeah.
so
A fresh
designing.
tomato is a fresh tomato. I mean, yeah.
Yes, yes, and especially if it grows all year round
Yeah, there you go. That's
indoors.
cool. What was that
Mhm.
called again?
Roots, fruits, and shrooms.
Roots, fruits, and shrooms. Okay. At first, I wasn't sure where you were going with that, with the shrooms in there, but
Culinary. Lion's mane. Oyster, shiitake, yeah.
there you go. There you go. I started doing this thing on the podcast where I have the last guest ask the next guest a question. And that's a really fun sentence for me to say every time.
Yeah.
On the last episode, we had Chelsea Anderson. She's a groomer from Virginia, and she had a cool story of coming back from addiction and rehab to starting her business and succeeding. And her question for you was, if you could be any kind of dog, what breed of dog would you be?
Huh. I think I know this answer. It would be what they call the Nkita
Oh,
in Nigeria, which is also known as the Ekuke, Ekuke. So English names for that are known as like the bingo dog. If you look at this dog, it's endemic to West Africa, but it's the cousin of the Basenji.
oh,
Yes. Yes.
interesting.
Very interesting breed. And that I would actually go back to get one of those puppies to bring back over.
That was a way more in-depth answer. I thought you were just going to say like a beagle or something, but I like that. That's really cool. The next guest is, I'm probably going to say her name wrong, but Gisela Lamborghini. She's a groomer out of Miami. Do you have a question for her?
Yes. And if she's a groomer, I love talking to the groomers. I don't want to make it basic, but what sort of do you appreciate or what drives you in regards to grooming? You know, and not like why do you do it, but what drives you? What brings you there every day?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what maintains you? What keeps you in that space? What keeps you in that mind frame? What drives you to be a groomer?
Because it's definitely not an easy job. It's very,
No.
can be very taxing. So yeah,
Yes.
got to stay motivated. I'll let you hear at the end, tell everybody where they can find Nkita, your website, your socials, what shows you got coming up, events, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, nice. So our website is www.nkita.store. So
Okay.
Nkita.store or just Nkita.store. We are at Nkita Pet, Nkitapet. That's on social, that's on Instagram, that's on TikTok, Facebook, across all the social media platforms. We are show wise, we will be at Colorado for RGMX. We'll be also at Super Zoo. We'll be at All American. We'll be in Wheaton, Illinois for the Great American Dog Show and Cat Show again. We'll be at Pet Quest in Ohio. We'll be back in New York for a
Maybe the
Shopify
easier
event.
question would have been, is there a show you're not going to this year?
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna see. We'll be at almost every
Everywhere.
occasion
Yeah.
if we can get to it. Yeah, we'll be everywhere this year.
Yeah.
We're making our tour. So we're actually updating our website, and we're going to be integrating or starting a school community, and then where we'll also have our calendar for the year and 2027. So if people
Nice.
wish to see where we're at, follow us. It'd be for our ambassadors as well too, so people can keep tabs on us.
I just have a question when you're naming all those shows. Do you have a favorite show to attend? Is there one you look forward to more than the others?
I don't want to get on anybody's list. Let's see. Now, when you say show, let me be specific. Are you talking about more of a people show, a pet parent show, or a groomer show?
Whichever you like the best. I don't know. Just is there a show you look forward to more?
Okay. I've been liking Groomed in Atlanta. And this past year, like I said, we launched our brand ambassador program. We ended up getting about 40 people to sign up. We also had the networking dinner that weekend, and then we worked with PetX and Petlanta. We thought we were going to get about 40 to 50 people-ish. We ended up getting about 87. So
Nice.
that market. And this year, I sold out of all my shampoo and conditioner. And this was year 3 or 4, I can't even remember. But that market organically, I can see the growth and the people, the return visitors and the customers. And, so and then I drive down there too. So it's become like a therapeutic ritual type of thing. Yeah. So Atlanta show's pretty nice.
Well, I suppose that's about all I had for you. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Is there anything else you want to say here at the end?
No, well, just for everybody to be looking out for some of these great campaigns and games and challenges we've got coming out, on the rest of the year. So just to stay tuned, things will get a little bit more exciting. So
Sounds like it. And then, of course,
yeah,
see you out on the road. You should just get one of those tour buses, like you're a rock star or something.
yeah, you might as well wrap a bus and then just go ahead. Because the Atlanta trip, I drove in a storm coming in 3 hours, and then going back, it was a 2.5 hour storm going back. And then when I got to Kentucky, a snowstorm started. So I left the thunderstorm and entered a snowstorm. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm driving to Atlanta. Like, this 12, 13 hour drive stuff is really messing with me now, with the elements. So I may fly next year. Yeah.
Okay, well, this was fun. Thanks for taking the
Yes.
time. And, Groomer's Choice will be at some shows too. So I'm sure someone will cross paths with you at another point.
Yeah. No problem. It's always wonderful meeting new people in the industry, meeting people who've been in the industry and forging relationships. And I look forward to continuing, our relationship and to continue the evolution for Nkita where we go. And then I'd love to update you with what we've got coming along for this year. So I'll keep you in tune with some things.
Do you have some new products coming up, or is it you're like, shh, for sure, keep us in the know?
No problem. Thank you for taking the time to come interview and allow me on your podcast and
Yeah,
allow
for
me in
sure.
this space. So
Yeah, you have a really interesting story with the whole family background too. So that's really cool.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You as well. And then I hope to visit South Dakota soon. So
yeah, we'll still be here whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Groomer Tales, a podcast by Groomer's Choice. Please rate, review, subscribe, and comment wherever it is that you listen to your podcasts. If you have any questions or comments about something you heard in this episode, please feel free to email us at groomertalespod@gmail.com. Until next time.